Hello everyone, it's really wonderful to be here with His Excellency Michalis Rokas, and he has done great things in the field of diplomacy, working on many issues pertaining to disinformation and whatnot in the current scenario that the world is going through. And even as I speak, we can see the changes, the global dynamics that are taking place. And one of the biggest things that's really affecting the world today is disinformation. And AIBD, together with EU, did a fantastic job on transcending disinformation last November. And so tell me, Ambassador, what are some of the ways that we can sort of curb, I wouldn't say stop disinformation because it's not something you can stop, but definitely looking at how we can put a curb on it, like how do you actually look at containing it, per se?
I remember very vividly the event that you organized, and I had the honor to be invited and participate together with the Malaysian minister, and I think also the gentleman, the minister from Papua New Guinea. Foreign information manipulation interference is a scourge. Mm-hmm. And we are all facing it. It is, or if we say it more easily for our audiences to understand, we call it disinformation. There is always a risk of polluting our democracies. There is always a risk of creating impressions, and now that also the social media are widespread, it's very difficult once an impression is there to change it. So we need to actively work together, and in the European Union we have been a leader. We have been tackling this situation already since 2015, and we have tried to put many rules and regulations. On the one hand, to fight against this scourge, but on the other hand, to ensure that freedom of expression and freedom of media and press stay at the top. So what we can do, obviously an event like yours, so we do need associations, organizations, media, journalists to get together to be able to be trained, to be able to know where are the risks, to know how to identify them quickly, to learn that when they hear something they need to check it 1 million times before, because of we have even the deep fakes that thinks that they look really 100% original. So there are many things that we need to do, and again, there are no nations that they can tackle this situation alone. We need partnerships, and since I've been here, I've been working very close with Malaysian ministers, successive ministers, many ministers. I have met a lot of ministers in the same portfolio.
Prime Minister.
Yes, so that's the way to go about, and I think also Malaysia would have a great opportunity also to show leadership ahead of ASEAN 2025 chairmanship, which starts 1st of January next year.
Mm-hmm. Great, and you've rightly put that the whole world actually is facing or is in the forefront of disinformation, right? And what's happening right now and what will happen really depends on how we tackle the situation. And you rightly said the training is actually key, and training of journalists and checking information. Now, I'm glad you said 1 million times, because, in journalism, I think one of the key factors is to really do fact-checking, and that's something that's really decreasing. So we really need to look at training and perhaps media literacy. So what's your take on media literacy, especially for young people, perhaps? Do you think that's also going to be one of the ways forward that perhaps the EU is looking at, or generally all countries or organizations should be facing?
Can't agree more with you. Definitely we need to enhance the skills for our journalists. It's a great profession. It is also the one that will defend the values and democracies in the years to come. And it's an appeal to young citizens to think about that. But just have the talent to write well is not enough. You need to have proper education. You have to have literacy, not only in media and forms of media, on social media, but also digitalization is a thing, what's happening now. And they need also to learn right from the start how they can identify the misinformation, disinformation, how, as you said, that they can verify the sources, how they can trust the sources, how they can enhance groups of journalists that they can trust and exchange and create a win-win situation, how they can discover bots in countries that they do this spreading of disinformation. So there are many things to do. And obviously, we need also to be there, and as governments or private sector, they have to have organizations and educational schemes to support them. It would be great that universities take this on board, because a lot of times most of our journalists, they have their majors in various other sciences, and then they choose to go there. Of course, political science always helps for better understanding, or economics, so that obviously it depends on which field you are. But the skills of journalists are, they need to be enhanced continuously. And I would say also, even more, it is about to enhance the curiosity, because nowadays I think we have the tendency to be very relaxed. Scroll 10 minutes on X or Facebook or Instagram, and everything, we know everything.
We know everything, yeah.
And that is not good.
Just reading headlines.
Yeah, just reading headlines is not good.
And I think the bigger picture here is that everyone is a journalist. Now with social media and with the mobile, everyone can become a journalist, right? So you have a lot of citizen journalists, you have a lot of independent content creators, and this is where we need to look at the subject of ethics. A while ago you said that journalists are the fourth pillar. Journalism is the fourth pillar of democracy. Now, with so many people just having access to, creating content or spreading via social media, now how do we protect this sort of ethics, or which is so vital in journalism?
Ethics is essential ingredient besides the other talents for journalism, and obviously we have freedom of expression, we have social media, everybody can comment or can produce a photo or find or join. So this is a freedom that is absolutely fine to have. But I think journalists need to lead and steer, need to be responsible, and but the responsibility has to be understood in the very wide open sense of media freedom and understanding the local ethics, the local customs, the local sensitivities, the local religious issues, the local ethnic issues, everything. So in order to be a good journalist, I think, and for the readers and the readership to be not only enhancing this sense of values and information, because information is everything nowadays.
Yeah.
But you have to have all these skills. It is not enough, as I said, one or two talents. You have to understand exactly not only the area where you write, but also the people that you're addressing this to, and the country where you operate. Or if you do international journalism, you have to take time to deep dive into what is going on in this country. So but this is not easy to be done. So you have to have good networks. You have to create relations of trust. And of course, training, we discuss about it. Yeah. We have to have it, but also we need to protect our journalists. And there is also where the EU with its regulations, we are a regulatory superpower. We are trying to regulate on deepfakes. We try to have a marking immediate so it can help. There are web sites that whenever there are such issues in the EU, they can refer to and for easy reference and have a look at it. But we need also to enhance their digital skills, because now there are new media, the way of
using AI. Actually.
Yes, exactly. AI.
Yeah.
It is a great conversation. I think now you will see fewer and fewer people just buying a newspaper and flicking the papers.
I think that's already stopping.
Yes.
With all the online stuff that's happening.
Yes.
But you did mention a few interesting things, value and trust. And these are, I think, still key factors that we need to look at when we're talking about media. But I must say that, and Ambassador, you will surely agree that media today is not just confined to electronic media as it used to be, with public broadcasters or something. But today we're looking at a whole range of media that's on multi-platforms. We're also looking at, like I said, individual content creators. And we're looking at how all these falls into place with media freedom. Now, there's been a lot of media freedom, right? But perhaps it's also time to look at some rules and regulations that should come into place, especially with the onset of deepfakes and AI-generated misinformation or disinformation. What's your take on that? Because we have really, really moved far away from where we started with print media or electronic media at one time. But today we're looking at media which has actually become a huge monster, which is able to sort of influence and change the way people behave, right? Or even to create a crisis.
Absolutely.
So perhaps this is something we need to really look at. So is the EU doing something on this?
Yes, we do. I told you we are leaders in, we are a regulating superpower.
Yep.
But before that, a comment. There's no doubt that artificial intelligence is changing our lives as we speak. Most of the times it's something in a very good and positive way, because we have high hopes that on health, on education, on many aspects, that even enhancing talents can be extremely helpful. So we should embrace it. But we have to understand that also there are the downsides, and people citizens everywhere, including Europe here, are concerned. Because they are concerned about their lives, the data, how this can be used, and what also, because artificial intelligence, deepfakes, they can create monsters. So we do regulate, and actually, only on the 1st of August, this year, the EU Artificial Intelligence Set of Rules Act, it's called ACT, came into force. And there we regulate everything, including the deepfakes. It's under this act that we try to ensure that our citizens trust and embrace artificial intelligence, but also we try to protect them from abuses, excesses, or the risks that they are around it. And you see now that we do not hesitate. We talk about digital media. You will see at the highest level debunking straight away, even if it is a very famous entrepreneur or anything, you may receive an answer within a minute. But this is one element. The artificial intelligence can, as we said, has the potential to create very stressful situations. So our rules and regulations, and of course, since they entered into force, it's very difficult for me to explain to you already its success. But we are the first. No one else has done that. And we want to create partnerships because we truly believe that new technologies are there through artificial intelligence, and we need them. And also, we are trying to develop them as well. It is essential for the future. So we do need to have better healthcare, combat diseases, get the best data that we can extract from how the diseases or viruses perform, all that. So all that are helpful. But bringing it also to journalism, I think it can enhance. It can make journalism better. But what it will never replace is that the journalist has to have, first of all, the values, the ethos, the integrity. This is personal. Artificial intelligence can never teach this.
Yes, thank you. I think this is really brilliant, your take on artificial intelligence, which is essential, which is there, we need to embrace it, but looking at how we can actually, we should be the controllers of whatever new technology that's coming on board. And, you said your career spanned over 3 decades, Ambassador, and that's really something you've been at the furthest end, which is New Zealand, working with Pacific nations, and then now moving on to New Macedonia. We take this opportunity to really thank you, Ambassador, for your sharing. I think it's really been wonderful.
No, and thank you, and of course we will stay in touch, because obviously I will always be interested how your media organization is doing, and every good suggestion and recommendation that you have, I will be very keen to read in the future.
Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, Excellency.